The mirror's other side. Ethan had always loved exploring flea markets, hunting for unique pieces to add to his collection. So when he stumbled upon an antique mirror buried beneath a pile of old books at a dusty corner stall, he was instantly drawn to it. The frame was ornate, carved from dark wood with intricate swirls that seemed to tell a story all their own. The mirror itself, though smudged and slightly cracked, gleamed as if holding secrets it couldn't wait to reveal. The vendor, an elderly woman with wild gray hair and piercing blue eyes, eyed him cautiously. "That mirror's old," she said in a hoarse whisper, her voice carrying a weight of warning. "It's seen things. Be careful what you let in." Ethan laughed it off. He wasn't superstitious. "How much?" he asked, ignoring her cryptic message. That night, Ethan hung the mirror in his living room. It was late, and he was tired from the long day, so he didn't pay much attention to the odd flicker of light that seemed to come from its surface as he walked past. Brushing it off as a trick of the dim lighting, he went to bed. The first night was restless. Ethan tossed and turned, haunted by dreams of shadowy figures lurking just out of reach, watching him from behind a glass wall. In the dream, he stood in front of a mirror that wasn't quite right. His reflection was there, but something about it was off. The reflection didn't mimic his movements. It stood still, staring at him with dark, empty eyes. Ethan woke up drenched in sweat, his heart racing. It was just a dream, he reassured himself. But as he glanced into the mirror on the opposite wall of his bedroom, he swore he saw movement behind him. Quickly turning, he found nothing there. The room was empty. Days passed, but the uneasy feeling lingered. Each time Ethan passed the antique mirror in the living room, he couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. And the reflection, his own image, began to feel less familiar. At first, it was subtle. The reflection's head tilted just slightly in the wrong direction, or the eyes seemed too focused, too aware. One evening, after a long day at work, Ethan stood in front of the mirror, scrutinizing his reflection. For a moment, it stood perfectly still, matching his every move. But then, just for a split second, it smirked. Ethan's heart lurched in his chest. He stumbled backward, his mind racing to rationalize what he had just seen. But as he stared in horror, his reflection stepped forward, placing its hand against the glass. Ethan stood frozen as the mirror version of himself grinned malevolently and began to push its way out. Then, everything went dark. The next morning, Ethan's apartment was eerily quiet. The mirror hung on the wall, perfectly still. And within it, Ethan's reflection watched the world with hollow, unblinking eyes, waiting for its chance to escape again.